A man is dying right in front of Hibiki. He has 5 minutes to save him. The system tells him, you can save him, but there's a problem. The spell costs 600 MP. Hibiki only has 56 MP, so instead of giving up, he does something no one in this world has ever done. This is Hibiki, the weakest class in the world, who just broke the system. Hibiki and Amelia later arrive in the city of Raoul. One look at his clothes and Hibiki would stand out instantly, so Amelia throws her hood to cover up. Amelia also reminds him they're going to get a good chunk of change after she sells this crystal horn, so they can go shopping for some armor and weapons too. Then Hibiki makes a mistake. Hibiki asks how much is 1 gold coin. Amelia just stares at him. Hibiki is even oblivious to how money works. Realizing how bad that sounded, Hibiki quickly laughs it off, then quietly asks the system instead. The system responds and explains that 1 gold coin is worth around 10,000 yen, so when Amelia said the horn is worth 200 gold, that's equivalent to 2 million yen. It makes sense that she was so eager to get it. Amelia puts her hand on Hibiki's face and tells him he should probably stop making himself sound totally clueless in this town, because if he is not careful, Hibiki is going to get scammed. Hibiki knows Amelia is right, but the way she said it really annoys him for some reason. They step into the guild and the room goes quiet, not because of him, but because Amelia isn't alone. Then they notice Hibiki and immediately assume he's a kid. Amelia sighed and said he is 16. The adventurers assume that must mean he's a rookie, so they apologize for teasing him about his height and wish him luck on his first day. Once they are gone, Amelia takes Hibiki up to the front desk to meet the receptionist, Jewel, and Hibiki can't help but notice that Jewel has cat ears. Amelia tells Jewel she would like to sell an item and wants to negotiate in a private room. Jewel understands, so she leads them to the guild master's office, where Hibiki is introduced to the guild master, Bells. The moment Hibiki sees Bells, he freezes because he has never seen a perfect body like that before. Bells notices instantly that Hibiki is staring, so he takes off his shirt to show the result of years of training. Hibiki is even more amazed now, so he asks Bells for any tips. Hibiki had tried working out in the past to make up for his lack of height with muscles, but his frame is too small, so he never got much out of it. Bells starts giving him some useful gym advice, but Jewel and Amelia are getting impatient because they came here to sell an item, not talk about muscles, so they both blast Hibiki and Bells with water to snap them out of it. Once the two of them have dried off, they all sit down to begin the negotiations, and as Amelia sets the horn down, Bells is impressed, because this one is 3 times as big as the one she brought in a few years ago. Bells didn't hesitate and said 400 gold. Hibiki is shocked and thinks it's double what Amelia expected. However, Hibiki underestimated Amelia. The moment Amelia realizes it's worth more, she pushes back and demands 800 gold. Bells says he can't go that high on the price, but Amelia forces him to decide by threatening to go to the guild in the capital for a better deal. Bells eventually gave up and agreed to pay 700 gold coins for it, which was way over budget. Amelia is happy that she managed to secure such a good deal for herself, because now Hibiki will definitely ask her to form a party with him, and then she won't be a loner anymore. Amelia is so happy she could jump for joy, but maybe she got a little too excited, because her button broke off again, and her chest is left in plain view once again. As such, Jewel kicks both Bells and Hibiki out of the room so she can fix Amelia's clothes. While Amelia gets things sorted, Hibiki waits outside. While Hibiki is there, the system informs him that his level 1 tutorial skill has met the level up requirements, which is nice, but Hibiki isn't exactly sure what that means, so he asks for an explanation. The system reveals that this tutorial skill exists to provide knowledge to people like him who aren't supposed to survive, and it was specifically designed by God to ensure that Hibiki didn't die too early. Hibiki can't believe he really received his skill from God, but just then, Hibiki hears a separate voice in his head, and it turns out to be that of the God who has been looking out for him. Hibiki wouldn't have made it this far without the God's help, so he is thankful. However, the God tells him he still has to do his best to stay alive, because his support won't last forever. A few moments later, Amelia returns after getting her shirt fixed, but just then, Amelia receives a letter about a mission request involving her hometown, so she can't turn it down. Amelia also won't be able to bring Hibiki along, so she apologizes and says she'll have to leave town for a while. Meanwhile, inside a dark cave, a female adventurer is searching for something, but no matter how much she looks, she can't find any trace of it, leaving her unsure where it could be. Back in the city, Amelia asks Hibiki if he is really going to be alright on his own, but he tells her he can handle himself. Hibiki is grateful, but he refuses to be a burden. If Hibiki is going to survive here, he has to stand on his own. Hibiki says he plans to become an adventurer because he saw a couple of quests back at the guild that even a non-combatant like him would be able to take. Amelia is glad to hear that Hibiki already has a plan in mind, and to make things a little easier for him, Amelia tells him he can stay in the room she rents in the meantime. Amelia hands him a map and tells him to ask for a lady named Tanya when he gets there, and she'll take care of of him. Amelia promises to see him again once she gets back, but just as Amelia is about to leave, Hibiki remembers he needs to return her hood. Amelia tells him he can keep it, but Hibiki thinks she needs it way more than he does because her buttons keep popping off. After recalling what happened, Amelia runs off in embarrassment because she can't believe Hibiki has seen her chest 3 times now. However, Amelia isn't watching where she is going, so Amelia ends up bumping into that adventurer from earlier. Amelia manages to catch herself before she falls over and immediately apologizes, asking if the girl is okay, but the girl doesn't look away. A guard comes over after hearing all the commotion and asks Amelia why she is in such a rush, so Amelia explains that she is actually on her way to complete a mission in her hometown. As soon as the girl hears this, she becomes interested and asks if Amelia is referring to the elf village of Fairnote. After Amelia confirms this, the girl gives a sly grin. She then mentions that she is heading there as well, so she and Amelia should be able to travel together. After Amelia leaves, everything goes quiet, his phone dies, and for the first time Hibiki is completely alone. Hibiki doesn't really have to worry about money after the horn sale, but he still hasn't found a way to return home yet, and the god hasn't spoken to him since then. Hibiki tries to ask Jewel if she knows anything about another world, but that apparently means something very different here, because Jewel becomes all shy and points him to an adult place, which is not what he was looking for. Hibiki really doesn't want people to get suspicious of him, so he's been avoiding interactions lately, but Hibiki can't keep this up forever. Just then, Tanya knocks on Hibiki's door. The reason Tanya came is that Hibiki didn't come down for breakfast or lunch earlier today, so she was starting to get worried. Hibiki assures her that he is perfectly fine, and Tanya is glad to hear it, so she reminds him that dinner will be ready soon and that he should come down when he is ready to eat. Hibiki thanks her, and after she leaves, Hibiki realizes that he's going to have to start making some money, because that whore money isn't going to last forever. Hibiki asks the system to pull up his stats so he can figure out what he is good at, and it complies. But Hibiki doesn't know whether his stats are good, so he asks the system for its opinion. The system tells him he is basically cannon fodder with his current stats, so he shouldn't even consider attempting solo combat at his current level. Hibiki figured that would be the case, so he decided to take a look at his skills to see if there was anything useful. Hibiki discovers he has a skill called Lady's Magnet, but he is not sure what it does. Hibiki also has 2 other skills, Contract and Medicine. Hibiki checks the medicine skill and freezes. The system informs that it can give several years of medical knowledge straight into his brain. Hibiki decides to use it. The system warns him that once it starts, it won't stop, and it's going to hurt. Hibiki is a little hesitant after hearing that, but he still decides to go ahead anyway, and for once, the system sounds genuinely disappointed by his decision. A medical book appears in front of him. The transfer begins instantly, and the pain is far worse than he expected. A few days later, the knowledge transfer is finally complete, and Hibiki feels absolutely terrible because he hasn't eaten or slept for so long. Hibiki decides to head out to do some shopping and clear his head, and after getting a meal, he buys himself a set of armor and general adventuring equipment. Hibiki also comments that gaining skills is a lot harder than he thought it would be. The system tells him that not all skills require the book download method, so he doesn't need to worry about it. Hibiki also notices that the system seems much more talkative ever since his tutorial leveled up. It is actually willing to hold a conversation with him. He decides to give her a real name, saying he will call her Sapo, and Sapo seems pretty happy about it. Hibiki heads back to the guild to see if there are any quests for him, but just then, that adventurer party he met when he first arrived rushes in because one of them has been severely injured in battle. The guy is missing an arm and a leg, and he is still bleeding profusely, so if nothing is done, he's going to die in no time. Bowles would have been able to save him, but unfortunately, Jewel says he is not in town right now, and they've tried all the other healing magic they know, but nothing has worked. Hibiki sees how bad the guy's condition is, and wants to help, so he decides to try out his newly acquired medical skills to see if that helps. Hibiki walks over and asks the group if they'd be willing to let him take a look. The party is so desperate that they have little choice but to let Hibiki examine their friend, and after using an examination skill, the system informs Hibiki that the man is currently under the effect of poison, which is why his bleeding isn't stopping. He has about 5 minutes left before he dies, so the only way to save him is to use the Perfect Heal and Perfect Cure spells. However, there's a problem that they cost over 600 MP, and Hibiki only has 56, and at this rate he can't save him. The others notice immediately and ask if something is wrong. Hibiki hesitates, then tells them that he knows how to treat him, but he doesn't have enough mana to do it. Hibiki asks if there's anyone else who can use Perfect Heal and Perfect Cure, but none of them has those skills, so there aren't many options. Just then, the system informs Hibiki that he can use his contract skill to form an MP transfer contract to make up the deficit, and that all he needs to do is obtain verbal consent from all involved parties. Hibiki turns to them instantly. If you want him to live, transfer your MP to me. It's their only chance. And without hesitation they all agree. Hibiki gains a lot of MP thanks to the transfer, but he is still short by almost 200, so Jewel offers to transfer her MP as well. As soon as Hibiki hits the required amount, he casts the healing spells, restoring the adventurer's injured limbs and saving his life. However, Hibiki collapses a moment later from the strain of using that much MP at once. When Hibiki finally wakes up, he is on a couch in a meeting room. His level has risen a lot, so he is really excited. But after his little celebratory dance, Hibiki realizes that Jewel was in the room and saw the whole thing, so he is a little embarrassed now. Jewel thanks him for saving her little brother, and Hibiki is surprised to find out that Jade is her brother, but he says he was happy to help. Jewel also mentions that she took the liberty of placing an order to ensure that no one speaks of what happened today. Hibiki asks why, so Jewel explains that it is almost unheard of for someone to use both Perfect Heal and Perfect Cure, and that if word gets out, someone is bound to try to exploit Hibiki for money. On that note, Jewel tells him that Hibiki should probably join a party or hire a bodyguard to protect himself, since he is a non-combatant. Meanwhile, down in the dungeon, there is a werewolf who looks like he'd be perfect for the job. But there's one problem. Hibiki didn't just save a life, he revealed something far more dangerous. A healer who can cast Perfect Heal and Perfect Cure at his level should not exist. That means one thing. The moment people find out what he can do, he stops being a person and becomes a prize, a weapon, something kingdoms would fight to control. And somewhere deep in the dungeon, a werewolf suddenly opens its eyes, as if it sensed him, and then the system speaks. Unique healer detected, high value target confirmed.